Hey folks, how you guys doing today? Jimmy Roberts, your local real estate professional. And today I want to talk to you about date of death appraisals or probate appraisals. Generally speaking, there are three types of appraisals. There are current market value or as is. Those are appraisals that happen today and when you're trying to figure out the value of a property today. There are future value appraisals or as repaired appraisals that oftentimes when you're dealing with real estate, like what is the value of the property going to be in the future sometime based on various conditions. And then there are historical or retrospective appraisals. These are appraisals when you're trying to figure out what was the value of something in the past. For our purposes, of course, since I love real estate, we're going to leave our focus and attention on real estate. But all three of those areas and all three of those type of reports can happen for any type of asset class. So that's important to remember. So let's jump right into it. Okay, a date of death appraisal would fall into that historical or retrospective class of appraisals. Okay, so a date of death appraisal is about something that happened in the past or historically. The key element here, it is focused on what is the value of a property at a past date. So in this particular instance, the date is typically associated with the passing of a loved one or someone like that. Okay, so for instance, if you happen to have, or if you happen to know someone whose grandparent passed away, say 6 months ago, and the estate needed to figure out what was the value of the property at the time of death so that they can distribute the assets and do all those other types of things. They would look for a date of death appraisal based on the date that that grandparent passed away. Again, that would be that 6-month date. Now, that can be very different, or it may be the same as the current market value. So I'm be clear here. The date of death or historical appraisal, the value can be the same as today's current market value, but typically it's not, especially the further back you go. That's why one of the key pieces of a retrospective appraisal is that if at all possible, you want to have that retrospective appraisal done as quickly as possible, especially when you're dealing with date of death or probate appraisals or probate evaluations. And the reason you want to do that is because you have much better data, pretty much the whole thing, right? The more data you have, the better report you can create or the better analysis you can do. All right. Another thing is the sooner you can do it, it also limits differences in market condition. Okay, now what does that mean? As I'm making this video in the spring of 2022. Well, the housing market today is very different than it was, say, a year ago. Just is. A year ago, houses were flying off the shelves like hotcakes. Today, houses are still selling relatively fast, but they're not selling as quickly and for a higher price as they were a year ago. So it wouldn't really be fair to compare values of a house that was marketed or appraised today as it was a year ago if I'm trying to figure out what is the relative value of that property in relation to other homes that were being sold at the time. So there you have it. Date of death appraisals or probate appraisals are historical appraisals that are often used for probate purposes, estate purposes, and IRS tax planning purposes, especially in relation to closing out an estate. So if you have any questions or if we can help you with anything else about date of death appraisals or any historical appraisals, give us a call. We're happy to help. Talk to you soon.